gonna be good. It's gonna be good. Ah! Hi. Last year, I made this weird little guy for Thomas for Christmas. Don't worry, I did give him other stuff. This isn't the only thing he got. I just always make him something handmade. I don't remember what inspired me to make him, but I love him. And it wasn't until Thomas sent me this video a couple of days ago that it occurred to me that I could make big weird little guys. This week, we're making Snorp. He is a happy little moron. He has no thoughts. He is the empty-headed blob that I think we all sometimes wish we could be in these trying times. We're gonna try really hard to hit that sweet spot right in between cute and ugly. Yes, his hands are human-sized. Yes, his feet are also human-sized hands. And he's gonna have a cute little outfit. So about a year ago, we are about to get into it, I promise, but just as background, about a year ago, I made a very cursed rabbit backpack that had human hands. All the proportions for this are making me sad. And I have learned a lot since then. Namely, that making it into a backpack was needlessly complicated. But also, this time I am going to try and make an armature. And so hopefully he will be poseable. So the plan is armature, wrap him in fabric scraps and wool roving, sew some skin onto him and a face, and then make a tiny little outfit. Doesn't that sound like a good time? Let's get into it. Oh, also ignore the fish face. I'm really running out of room for all of my projects. I should have mentioned that earlier. So I did initially want to make Snorp out of foam clay and the camera is focusing on them. I can't deal with this. This has to come down. This looks even bigger now that it's on the mannequin. That'll do. We'll have an empty face instead. Or do I just put this in here? Oh, is that worse? Grayson, come look.
Yeah, that's I mean, you know, it's a creative combination of the last two projects for sure.
He's gonna fight you. You just have the nose poking out. I don't know, it's still pretty bad. It still thinks it's a person. Armature, let's start with armature. Hopefully I have enough of the 3mm armature wire because I really like this one. I also have like a ton of this one that I really don't like. Various tapes in states of disarray. This is a finger tape for making jewelry. It doesn't stick to anything but itself and I'm thinking that could be helpful for this. Oh, my chocolate I haven't finished. I rush ordered the eyeballs for this yesterday. So let's see what we've got. All right, now hopefully one of these is some appropriately sized eyes. Ooh, that's a good size. It's not the size that I intentionally ordered for him though. Oh no. Oh, they're so big. Ooh, they magnify. Hang on. Is that good? That could be fun for like a costume or a cosplay. Make some magnifying spectacles. Oh no, you couldn't wear this. I can't see a thing. I quickly realized that I didn't have enough of the 3mm sturdy wire to make the whole armature, so I compromised by using it for the thumbs, index, and ring fingers so that he'd be able to grip stuff. And I figured I would just wind a few bits of the super malleable wire together for the rest of it. Okay, my hands already hurt just from that amount of twisting wire. Let's probably get really frustrated as we try to transform these into hands. Ooh, I should trace my hand onto paper. Not doing things the stupid way. My plan for making the hands poseable was based on me finding these two images and then misremembering them and not being able to find them again. So we have a wire frame for the basic hand shape, joined with tape and then wrapped in wool. It's a sad baby, can you hear that? That like really like wraps that wire in pretty securely. Okay, I'm gonna cover the entire thing in this tape, I think. I'll meet you back here in a minute. So this tape was fantastic for this. It held all the wire in so there weren't any sharp bits, and the slight tackiness of the tape means that when I wrap the wool around it, it will help it stick. The only downside of this tape is that the only place I know where to get it from is jewelry supply stores. I'm so happy with this. I do have to remember, oh my dear God, do not let me forget that I need to make 2 left hands and 2 right hands. So we need to flip this drawing over after I do the next one. Ready, go. Oh no, look, I did 2 left hands. Oh wait. Yeah, everyone, it turns out that they're reversible. I think I'm just so used to making things that have a left and a right that I'm like, make sure you get it correct. Anyway, it kind of looks like a frog hand right now and they're all done. So yay, I feel a little bit silly. I will see you tomorrow and let's turn these into actual hands. Do you get it? It's the thing where people they finish the scene and they do. Anyway, good night. So I realized that like the last thing I said to you was that we're going to build up the flesh on the hands. We're not going to do that because, hang on, because I do think we need the body first. So this should be interesting because it's not like I've got like reference images. I have one sketch that I did. It's very two-dimensional. So let's just see what happens, shall we? And I really should have my reference image up, shouldn't I? Then just go off and make like a chicken or something. Is there a quicker way to do this? There is, it's with a drill. And then if I just hold it there with the pliers, I think I'm doing it the wrong way. That's so much easier. Thank you, Pegsicle. I remember that. It was Pegsicle who suggested that. Thank you. Amazing. I'm trying to figure out from my reference image if he has legs. This is my new favorite thing. Literally just a wire frame with feet, and I already love him. This is the body shape of a Furby, I just realized. I can't remember if Furbies have ears. They do, and I've basically just designed a Furby. Also, this is the one I had when I was a kid. Snorp. Snorp! Alf. I added a tail for balance and some extra framing wire because where else was the stuffing going to go? Even though at this stage I wasn't sure if there would be stuffing. Oh, it's too low. So I think I'm pretty happy with like the amount of framework that we have now. Like I feel like that's enough. What I've got here is some, I want to say wool roving or wool tops. I can never remember if they are different or what. Like it's a 1-ply, just loose wool. Half again. We're gonna try and wrap it across so that we kind of make him a bit of a solid shape. So what I'm gonna do is just put this one running one way and then wrap our wool around it, and then hopefully that secures it. All right, and so then that's my plan. We go through and then cross, and then we have a little solid bit. I don't know if you can see it. I'll cover my eyes. Does that help? Look at his little ear. All right, let's give him some chunk. This worked pretty well, I think. I kept my pieces of wool short so they weren't a huge hassle to work with, and to join all the pieces together, I just used a needle felting needle. I only have a single point one, so it took a little while, but also for a bit I was just stabbing it without moving the fibers around, so it probably took even longer than it should have. I've also just learned that wool tops isn't the ideal one for needle felting because the fibers are all going the same way, but I don't know, we got there in the end. Although this isn't the end, we are still going, there's still a bit more to do. Good morning. I had a little bit of an emotional roller coaster with this guy this morning. I woke up just with the sudden crystal clear realization that I made him wrong. He's meant to just have a spine, and then that whole middle section head body part should just have been made out of wool batting, and then he would have been smushy and completely posable. So yeah, I felt incredibly silly and sad that I had done the wrong thing, and then I was like, it's gonna be really hard to make his face. What have I done? Do I just start again? Do I just like take him all apart? And then I found an article about a textile artist who made theirs the exact same way that I did. So then full circle, I feel a lot better about it. All right, you're gonna hear chewing noises for a bit because Alf's just come back from his walk, and this is the room where he eats his treats. Good job. Oh yeah, and the other thing was, I don't have enough wool to actually wrap around him, so I couldn't have done it that way. Anyway, what I do have is a bunch of leftover wool batting offcuts, and so we're gonna stuff him. Let's keep building out this little guy's flesh, shall we? Also, he's not a toy. He's not meant to be handled, so it's okay that he's a little bit wiry. We know for next time there are other ways to do it, but we're learning and we're having fun. His little tail's so cute. So I stuffed him with wool batting scraps like stuffing cream cheese into an adorable blue jalapeno popper that has hands. I had to look that up because I've never made jalapeno poppers before and I thought they were made with mozzarella. I built up his hands because they were a bit spindly, and then I padded some of the thinner bits by needle felting some wadding scraps where he needed chunk. I was surprised this was actually easier than sewing it. This is going shockingly well. I only stabbed myself once. Fluff in my mouth. And he looks like a little sky at the moment with hands. It's time to put the skin on. So we're gonna use linen. I actually had a different fabric picked out for this the entire time. I even filmed that part already. I want to try making something like this with a non-stretch fabric. I think it could work. This is scary and it's character growth for me, I think. I had a snack and suddenly I'm very sleepy. I didn't grab any sewing implements. To cover his body in the fabric, I went with the simple method of just pinning fabric to him, cutting it with a decent seam allowance so I could fold the edges under, and then stitching them together by hand with the smallest whip stitch I could muster. I tried to pull the pieces together as taut as I could so that his skin wouldn't look too saggy, which can still be super cute in its own right. It's just not what I was picturing for Snorp. This part of the project was somehow both really relaxing and also frustrating as I tried shaping non-stretch fabric around rounded shapes. Oh, it's so cold today. I just found out that a cafe in walking distance to me does a peanut butter latte. So I might need to sample that later. I didn't check if they're open today. Anyway, this is how far we've gotten with Snorp. His ears were a little challenging. So I think that for the hands, I'm gonna try and make a pattern. If it was a stretch fabric, then we'd go for it. But yeah, we're getting some weird darts and stuff in him. It's a given, it is gonna happen. But I would like to make the hands as well as I can. So let's get into glad wrap and tape. Also, seriously, what are the birds in my area eating? This is black and so gross. What is it? Kind of feels like they're dive bombing our house as well. Or like we are in a very direct flight path because this just keeps happening. Oh, and the update is that the place that sells the peanut butter lattes is closed today. So I have asked my Instagram how I should actually make it because I looked it up and there were a bunch of different recipes. And it looks like so far, the vote is that it should have coffee in it. I don't know, how much do you put in? Oh no, it's chunky. Here we go. Oh wow, that's really nice. Really glad I made this. Also, I thought of a better idea than glad wrap. I always forget about these. All right, now we try and get a glove on him. Oh, I felt like I felt his finger crack just then. Okay. Oh, come on, Snorp, work with me here. It's like trying to pick someone up who's dead weighting. It makes the hand look so much more realistic now that it's in a glove. Oh, you have to drink these quickly because the peanut butter can solidify as it starts to cool down. It's chunky now. I did get a suggestion that I should try making it with powdered peanut butter, which I thought was a great idea. So I bought some and stirred it into the espresso, but it ended up kind of grainy and not very peanut buttery. So hit me up with your suggestions on how to make a better peanut butter latte. Oh, I have to draw the pattern pieces on. I was just gonna start cutting. Yeah, okay, pattern pieces. Now let's cut him out of it. I didn't number them. Ah, no, we got this, we got this. I'm just gonna write on them. Wrist. This is a constant problem. Oh yeah, this is the tape method. I'm sure you've seen it before. That was a weird way to cut it. I don't know why I did it that way, but don't worry, I'll fix it off camera. So professional. I tried putting B on the pieces for the back, but still managed to mix up the pieces multiple times. Yeah, I changed the pattern pieces. This feels like a mistake. I had wanted to use fewer pattern pieces, but I just couldn't figure out how while still conforming to the shape of the hand. I think this is a pretty good entry on my journey I've somehow ended up on of making human hands, but I realized after that I should have reinforced the knuckles to make the shape a bit more realistic. I watched a KP Creations video in prep for this, and I think she said she uses hot glue to mark the elbows inside her dolls, and I think that could have been good here. Oh dear. This took over a day to do one hand. I'm in danger. I thought I was gonna be finished this in about 4 days' time. 3 hands still to do. No face, outfits. So here is my conclusion. I do think the pattern helped. I was kind of hoping that it wouldn't. Honestly, while the fingertips were really difficult to do, I do think that overall this fits better because I made a pattern, which means I have to keep cutting out pattern pieces. Shall we continue? Here's what I'm thinking. Shall we do this in a transition? Yeah? Yeah, there we go. Second hand, 2 hands. I don't know how to say it. It's getting a little bit easier. Okay. 3 hands. I've been watching ContraPoints. Anyway. 4 hands done. I also did the tail. He has a tail now. That was more challenging than I thought it would be. I am undecided if I'm doing nails or not. I kind of like him as he is, but I do think that like some denotion of fingernails would help with the these are hands thing. I mean, they look like hands, but they could look more like hands. For now, I think the most important thing is he needs a face. And I have an idea. And it's not so much an idea as a word. Magnets. It's also not so much an idea as I saw Goblin Girl Studio do it to attach a hat to her Frogboat character, and I thought, wow, that's a great idea that I probably never would have thought of. Definitely go check that out after this if you haven't already. She's super funny, but in like an on-purpose way, like with real jokes. It's crazy. I got some really strong magnets. So the plan is basically put magnets inside his face, magnets inside his eyes and mouth, and then I can switch them out and give him different expressions. Right? Maybe. We'll see. Let's give it a go. I wonder if he can hang from up here, if I can put him on my rig. He's like a little monkey. Amazing. That's gonna be fun. Oh, I don't like how they look all bent over like that. Oh, that helps him hold onto the table too. Okay, so it's finally time to use my gigantic doll making needles, and my plan is I want to sink this in for where his eyes are gonna go. So I'm gonna like try and pull this back a little bit by anchoring his face to, I think, the bottom of his ears. To figure out what I wanted for his face, I just took a photo and sketched it out on my iPad. Yeah, so these were the strongest magnets I could find because I was worried about the magnets working through the layers of fabric, and I can tell you, the magnets not sticking together was not something I had to worry about. Whoa! Ow! So I interfaced our little magnet covers because by now I was much more worried about the magnets ripping the fabric. Doing it this way did add other problems for me though, because I really had to try to sink the magnets into his face as they would be visible once his eyes were on, and I thought that would really shatter the illusion. If I did this again, I would put the magnets inside his head at an earlier stage. For the eyes, I ended up not using those glass capuchons that I had rush ordered for this project. Man, I hope I find something to use those for. I decided I really want his eyes to be more round and bulbous, so I shaped them from aluminium foil and then wrapped them in foam clay. You could make them entirely from foam clay, but I wanted them to dry quickly, and also I'm running low and the Australian producer of foam clay is currently sold out, so I have to be really sparing with it. But also, it would be surprisingly fortuitous that I made them this way because it's making his eyeballs like stick out way too far. Okay, I wasn't expecting that to happen. Okay, so here's where I'm at. I'm not sure about this magnets thing. I know I only just told you about this idea. I'm not feeling good about it anymore. I'm gonna do just everything that I can to get this face done, and hopefully editing me can make it make sense. Cool? Cool. Okay, so yeah, this is gonna jump around a bit because there were so many things that needed drying time, but I'll do my best. For the eyes, I painted the bulbous ones. I did also paint a set of capuchons, but I didn't use them, so we can just ignore those. The mouths I shaped from polymer clay, and I carved out spaces in the backs for the magnets to go in. I did 2 mouth shapes because this is my first time doing something like this, and I wasn't even sure at this stage if it would work. And to be fair, when they were cooked, is it cooked? Baked. Anyway, when the polymer clay was ready, I did have to carve out some extra space because I guess it shrunk, or I'm bad at this. Then it was into the oven to bake/cook for a bit, and back to the eyes. So I filled the eyes about halfway with hot glue so I could super glue the magnets in, and that way they would cover up the magnet that's in the face, and oh no, we're back to the mouth. Well, I'm just painting it, so I don't really need to describe that, although I didn't like the first color I did, and I think the new color is way better. I glued the magnets in. I had to do one side at a time, otherwise the magnets would jump out to connect with each other. So cute. After a gloss coat, I sewed the mouth magnets in, and then figured out how to do the fingernails. I interfaced some of the linen, cut out some vague nail shapes, covered up the underside by attaching another bit of linen with double-sided tape. I really should get some of that double-sided fusing interfacing. Once I had sewn all the fingernails on, I gave the edges a light black wash with watered down acrylic paint. Back to the eyes, and I know I said in my last video that I didn't like the UV resin, but I gave it another go, and honestly, slightly better, but still something that needs a lot of practice to get a good result, I think. Also, the pen took forever, so I just stuck them in the sun to cure. I think I'm putting it on too thick. Once the resin was mostly cured, I hot glued and stitched some eyelids onto his eyes. This really helped cover up any gaps between his eyeball and his face. And because the magnets are so strong, it turned out I could just fold some fabric on his eyes to make additional eyelids for more expressions. I had to go at making some closed eyes as well, but I used tissue paper for the core shape and wool batting inside the eyelids, and the results were uneven. Then it was just a little dab of paint, and the face is finally finished. Good morning. It doesn't look like it. Just get my water there. I actually have no idea how many days it's been, but we have completed the face. Also, it was my birthday, so I had a day or two off to play Skyrim and go out for dinner and such. Hi. You're just zooming in on my face.
Huh?
That means that it is time to finally make his little outfit. Something's happened with his tail. I have like broken his tail. It was holding him up and now it's just completely loose. I don't know what I did. It's fine. So this is the plan for his outfit. So I have an old flannel shirt that I got from the op shop that I don't really wear anymore. I figure we can make his little shirt out of this, and so the collar is already done. We're going to knit him a beanie, and I want to make him a little bag. Oh, he's gonna be so cute. I have to remember to make him a little pocket as well. Now we accept that it's not going to be able to do up. It's fine. Gonna be a tiny shirt. Oh, hi there, it's me, voiceover Ash. May I recommend this new fandangled thing called subscribing? Now I know I'm probably the first YouTuber you've ever heard mention it. It's quite niche. It means you will maybe keep seeing my videos. And did you know you can also like the video? That's the little thumbs up button. And that will tell the algorithm monster that you want to see more cozy chaos crafting. And also it really helps me out. Thank you so much for your consideration. Oh my god. It's so adorable. Now we have to force it on him. His hand looks so sad and smushed at the moment. Oh, well hopefully I can. Haha! I'm just gonna see if I can force the buttons to go on. Yeah, it didn't fit. I had to sew it on. So I am going to knit him a beanie because of course I am. Any excuse to do some knitting, and I will. These aren't even stitch markers, these are for bra straps, but they will do. I do have to walk the boy, which I don't really need to tell you that, but that just might affect the continuity because time will pass. I may have misread the situation. Go for a walk with me? Now I feel really bad for Alf. It turns out that it's raining. It's okay, the rain stopped pretty quickly so I didn't wake him up for nothing. I moved the yarn onto 4 double-pointed needles and fairly quickly realised that this yarn is too thin for 4mm needles, so I doubled it up and proceeded with a 1x1 rib knit. The next day was very exciting for me. I parked myself on the couch with my baked bean blanket and my knitting and got to rewatch the 2011 Jane Eyre and enjoy this iconic line. No audio though, because to be honest, I still don't fully understand copyright infringement. I did some decreases which were very ugly. Turns out I don't know how to neatly decrease 1x1 rib. When the beanie was long enough, I threaded the yarn through the open end and then pulled it tight to close the top of the beanie. Then it was just weaving in the ends and it was done. Oh, and I finally remembered to add his little pocket. All right, all that is left is his little bag. I suppose it wouldn't be little for him, it would just be a bag. All that's left is his bag. We're gonna do a satchel bag. Now I think I've got some black denim around here. This is quite a thick one. Too thick? Or should it be pink denim? I don't know, I feel like the pink's like a bit much. Oh wait, like a tan color maybe? Oh no, that's too similar to his skin. That almost has not enough texture. And that one's wool and stretchy. I don't know. Okay, what do we think? This one, or this one? They're all black fabric. I really like how this one feels. Like I feel like I'm gonna use that. I wanna use this for a jacket or something. Wait, I've already used some of this? Where did I get this fabric? Let's just use the more denim-y denim, but also it shouldn't be gray, should it? No, it's too similar to a shirt. Leather? Should I use? No, the pebble grain is too big. Maybe a button? Oh, hi, bunny. Did you just wake up from a nap? I think you can tell that's not a bit because if it was, I would have stopped at like 60% of the way through. Anyway, I made a little pattern for his little satchel bag and I was amazed to see the tailor's chalk go on smoothly for once. I genuinely thought that it just didn't really work, but I've clearly been using it on the wrong fabrics. Anyway, I ran into some issues while sewing this, namely the thread breaking repeatedly, so much so that I gave up and started sewing by hand instead. And then y'all, this is a vulnerable moment, okay? If you've seen any of my previous videos with this industrial sewing machine, in particular my puffer coat that I made recently, unfortunately the thread broke almost immediately. And then again, and again, and again. I've changed needles, I've changed threads, I bought like the toughest polyester thread I could find. I changed the presser foot tension. I have done so much to try to stop this machine from snapping my thread. I looked up why I'd be having this problem, saw a photo of someone's industrial juki. I've been threading my machine wrong this entire time. The hubris, the absolute hubris to be like, I know how to thread a machine. It's one tiny thing. Who would think that this would cause such an issue? Probably heaps of you who are probably screaming at your TVs right now being like, why didn't you check that earlier? Because I thought I knew how to thread a machine. I've been sewing since I was like 12. This thread right here. I was putting this through here. I was going whoop, around like that, and then this was going straight from here up to here. And it flopped out. It would flop out while I was sewing. And I was like, that feels weird that it's like flicking. Why didn't I look into that? Why did I have that thought for so long and ignore it? Obviously, the thread goes straight down here, flips around, and then goes in this one. But it's fixed now, so that's good. Well, that's embarrassing enough. I'm not even gonna tell you what went wrong with the magnets. Don't worry, I fixed it. Okay, I managed to sew his mouth ones facing different directions so his mouths would only go on upside down. Anyway, I finished up the bag with a snap so I can take it off and on, and I added a buttonhole you can barely see and a button. And with that, it is finally time to